So, you're on a budget and you don't know which weapon to buy. A situation that 99% of Skyblock players will find themselves in at some point. Today we take a look through the progression of budget weapons in Hypixel Skyblock. Now when you first start the game, it goes without saying that you should probably just buy whichever sword is relevant from the weaponsmith until you accumulate some skills and coins. After all, these weapons are pretty much nothing. And don't skip on the artisanal shortbow. For 600 coins, you literally get a shortbow. Can't be beaten. Talking of items that are pretty much free, following the quest in the end can not only land you a free upgrade to your artisanal shortbow, but a pretty strong sword to kill those endermen. If you haven't completed any quest in the end, then simply a lost adventurer will spawn, dressed in ender armor if I remember correctly. You just need to kill 5 endermen, come back and he'll sell you the void sword for 200k. Now the void sword will give you decent base stats, but you'll also gain strength when you use ender armor, and obviously when you're a beginner, ender armor is pretty good in the end, and this sword is pretty much the must-have. For 200k, it's going to outdamage every other weapon that you have pretty much at that stage of the game in the end. And if you simply just follow the rest of the quest, follow the lost adventure around, do what's asked, you'll be given this dragon shortbow for free. Which once again is just a win-win. It does extra damage to dragons and it's definitely quite a nice upgrade from your artisanal shortbow. Anyway, with a few hours of playing time under your belt, maybe you've made a couple of 100k. A Radioact is a very good option. It's going to set you back around about 150k, it's going to give you some decent damage and strength. The more wood collection you have, the better the weapon becomes. The more kills you have with the weapon, the better the weapon becomes. You also earn quite a decent amount of coins per kill. Earn plus 20 coins from the monster kills, level 10 plus only. Yeah, it really is a solid beginner weapon. And for around about 100k extra, you can go for the aspects of the end. In terms of damage, when I've done some testing on a new profile, the aspects of the end doesn't quite do as much damage as the Raider's Axe once you've fully upgraded the Raider's Axe. But not only is the aspect of the end pretty good for damage, this is an aspect of the void, but it's the same principle. You're also able to teleport. Obviously you use your mana, and you can right click and teleport around, which is very, very useful for a number of things. Even if you have other weapons that out damage your aspects of the end, I'd still have an aspect of the end just to teleport around, because like I said, it makes things so much easier. From there, if you have a few more coins, I would probably recommend looking into an aspect of the dragons. For the price of this sword, it's actually very good. It has gone up in price a little bit in the past probably like 6 months, but still 1 mil to 1.5 mil, depending I guess on the time of day, is a steal. Of course, with enchantments and reforges on there too, it's going to do even more damage. Also, I just want to plug that subscribe button, become part of the 23%. Now of course, sometimes the factor that prevents you from getting a weapon isn't the price. It could be the skill requirement, or the catacombs requirement, or just requirements in general. A weapon like the Flower of Truth at 835k is ridiculously good, and it is so overlooked at the moment. Of course the game has progressed, players have progressed, weapons have progressed, and metas have changed. But this is still a very solid weapon. The only thing that holds it back is the fact that it requires Catacombs Floor 6 completion, which is kind of annoying. Having said that, if you have the requirement, not only does the Flower of Truth give pretty good base damage and strength stats, it has a pretty unique right click ability. Of course, you have your regular left click, and then if you right click, as you can see, it is what's actually called as a heat seeking flower or something. Heat seeking rose. You right click, you shoot a flower. The flower can hit up to 3 enemies in range, and it also multiplies in damage to the next actual enemy that it hits. Regardless of the fact that it's pretty much just not used, I'd still say it's probably one of the most unique weapons on the game, and it is one of my favourites weirdly. Up next we've got a Living Dagger. It's quite a big jump in price. As you can see, a base one is almost 8 million coins as opposed to maybe the next cheaper one that I've mentioned, which will be the aspects of the dragons at around about 1 million. But this is for good reason. On face value, the damage between a Living Dagger and a regular aspects of the dragons is actually not too different, but you've got to take a look at the other perks that you get with the Living Dagger. Not only do you get plus 210 damage and plus 60 strength, you also get plus 100% crit chance, which is actually very useful at early stages in the game. It also gives you plus 50% bonus attack speed, which is also very helpful, and it also gives you plus 50% crit damage. You also have an ability to throw a dagger. You right click and you throw. It's not the greatest ability, I can't lie, but the other ability it has is if you hit an enemy in the back, it doubles your damage. Now it's not too practical because sometimes even if you do hit an enemy in the back, it doesn't register, and vice versa. but it's something to consider. The great thing about the Livid Dagger is it only requires a floor 5 completion, which is still going to limit some people from using it, but it's not as bad as a floor 6 completion for a Flower of Truth. Back in the day, the combination of the Flower of Truth for clearing in dungeons and the Livid Dagger for dealing the rest of the damage was absolutely godly, but for the most part, gone are the days. Anyway, we've talked about short bows in this video. An artisanal short bow, we've talked about the dragon short bow, and when it comes to your next upgrade, there's quite a jump. As you can see, the next short bow is the Juju Shovel, and let me tell you, this weapon is great. Plus 310 damage, plus 40 strength, plus 110 crit damage, and of course it's a short bow, so basically it's just like an automatic machine gun. Now the price of this weapon drastically dropped after there was a crippling nerf. And when I say a crippling nerf, the weapon itself wasn't nerfed, the requirement was just upped. As you can see, in order to use the Juju Shortbow, you need to have Enderman Slayer 5, which is quite a high barrier to entry. Considering prior to the nerf, it just required Enderman Slayer 3, this is a massive step up. It's considerably longer, and also a lot of players, unless they just grind out tier 1s, then they have a very hard time actually gaining XP to get to Enderman Slayer 5, especially if you're looking to get a Juju Shortbow. It's probably not going to be the easiest for you to actually complete Void Glooms, which is why a lot of people turn to carries. On a completely unrelated note, if you do find yourself needing Enderman Slayer carries or dungeon carries or other Slayer carries, join the Discord server, it's the top link in the description, and from there we do carries. You do have to pay, but we can carry you if you need the Juju Shortbow. But honestly, once you get the Juju Shortbow, it will not disappoint. It is worth it. It just may take a bit of time or just a bit of an investment of coins in carries. Alternatively to that, if you don't want to bother going through the pain of getting to Enderman Slayer 5, even though at some point you're gonna need to do it for endgame, some people do invest in a Spirit Bow, which is another short bow. It doesn't do quite as much damage. Well, actually, it doesn't really do really close to the amount of damage that a Juju does, but at the same time, it's less coins and it doesn't have the requirement. As you can see, in terms of stats, the Juju does quite a considerable amount more base damage. The Spirit actually has quite a lot more base strength, but then the Juju has plus 110 crit damage, and that's something that the Spirit Bow just doesn't offer. And when we compare the Spirit Bow to the Dragon Short Bow, that is free, as I explained earlier in the video. The Spirit Bow does quite a lot more base damage. The Dragon Short Bow gives less strength too, although it does give a bit more crit damage. Well, it does give more because the Spirit Bow doesn't give crit damage at all. Something to think about with the Spirit Bow is the cooldown is 0.7 seconds, where on the Dragon Short Bow is 0.5. The Dragon Short Bow is very good considering it's cheap. I would consider the Spirit Bow a slight upgrade though. From there, if you're looking to diversify into the world of Mage, you could consider using something like a Spirit Scepter, which is honestly, I must admit, much better than you would expect. And the actual requirement to use a Spirit Scepter is only Catacombs Floor 4, which isn't too bad at all. If you don't know what the Spirit Scepter does, basically, you right click and it shoots like a bat, and then the bat explodes. If you're looking to spend slightly more coins, a massive upgrade to your Livid Dagger would definitely be a Shadow Fury. The Shadow Fury gives considerably more base damage, considerably more strength, less crit damage, but it is sort of made up for the rest of the stats. It also gives you plus 30 speed. Of course, you do lose out on the 100% crit chance, but to be completely honest, if you're looking to buy Shadow Fury, you should probably be able to achieve that without having the Livid Dagger anyway. The same goes for the bonus attack speed. Of course, the Shadow Fury is also upgradable, so if you get an upgraded base Shadow Fury, it will do even more damage. It also has an extra gemstone slot, which is very nice. And the requirement for this is Catacombs Floor 5, which is the same as the Livid Dagger. It really just comes down to a matter of your budget at that point. Now, of course, I've definitely missed a lot of weapons out, but at the end of the day, everybody progresses differently, and if I was going to do it all again, there is probably somewhere or somewhat of the sort of progression that I'll be looking at. I probably missed a few steps, but there's some budget weapons if you needed some. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.